Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. First of all, apologies for not uploading recently. I've been incredibly busy and, truth be told, it's not been going all that well at times. But we're over the halfway stage of the season now. We've finished the mid-season break, but just before the mid-season break, some of my teams were in the mud. My tactics in particular were in the mud. Kind of bounced back a little bit now. Jump over to one of the clubs where I've not had as much opportunity to be as flexible as I wished. But as you can see, the form in the last 5 games has been a little bit ropey here or there. But as you can see, just before the mid-season break, we went on a bit of a torrid time. Was not going to plan. It was a similar sort of story with my reserves team. As you can see, much better pick up in form now. We've finally got the handle on the tactics and the change to the match engine at the start of the season. But before that, very patchy, dropping points in games I really shouldn't be dropping points in. Losing games where I was like, how on earth have I lost these games? Yeah, this one in particular I just thought was outstanding. Their keeper is a 9.2, mine is a 4.9. I had to rotate a little bit. I mean, he's not bad, this goalkeeper, but he was bad in that game. But anyway, I'll go touch upon the tactics and all stuff to do with that. Equally with the main team, the Peacocks, again, similar sort of story here. Much better turnaround in terms of form, but before that, it was bad. It was bad. I was losing games where I felt I was the better team, or at least the stronger team, but I just could not get my tried and tested, my much loved 352B to work whatsoever. So that's when I thought, right, I'm going to have to stop being so bloody stubborn and do something about it. So I sat down, analysed things, looked at the games, started testing different tactics. I had the flexibility in all the squads, well, 2 out of the 3, but it just wasn't coming together, so I had to change something up, and I've managed to do that across all 3 clubs, and at the moment it's looking a lot better. I thought I'd take a moment to interject, and you might notice if you have kept an eye on my agency, I know people message me and say they like to friendly my teams. You're welcome to do so. Equally, if you want to friendly one of my teams in particular, you want to play against a specific, tactic that I deploy, you let me know. I don't mind loading it up as default, so you can try and test against it. More than happy to do that. But there's some new faces. I'll touch upon those momentarily. I want to look at progression, so I'm just going to remove all the new faces from the list, but we'll add one more back in because Matos, my 19-year-old centre-back, is out on loan at Risu at the moment. We can have a look at progression there. I haven't actually had a chance to check progression this morning, so Petrenko's got himself a +1. Brunner continues his form of picking up stats in all the right places. Boshanek, again, good progression. He's picked up loads of stats again since I picked him up. Simon's finally got a +1. Doesn't have a lot of games as a rotation piece, but again, not bad. Holt finally got another +1 because he's been dragging his arse along the way. So Maya, he can't be far off from a tier break. If his shooting went up a bit faster, I don't think he'll be far off a tier break soon. Who else have we got? I think that's it. Yeah, progression slowing up towards the second half of the season, to be expected, I guess. But let's look at current season. Overall, lots and lots of greens across the agency. I love to see it, but I'll go with our top progressors overall. First and foremost, Mr. Lars Brunner had a stonking season in terms of progression in particular. +3 overall, +2 pace, +6 shooting, 1 in passing, 1 in dribbling, helpfully 4 in defence, +1 in physical. Prazakova, I liked the look of this guy when I picked him up in the off season. He's come on nicely as well, +2 over the course of the season, solid all round, decent stat set. I'm quite happy to see his defending going up as well. Chadwick, didn't think I'd use him all that often. He was just there to plug an extra spot, but actually I've ended up using him with the tactic changes, and that has aided his progression no end. Boschnek, as I've mentioned previously, this guy is constantly on a bit of a tear at the moment since I picked him up. I picked him up around this sort of rating. I think he was 65 rated. He's ticked on to 68, and just the progression in his stats during that time frame, it's been very, very nice to see. He's very competent. I think he was +1 at centre back, but with this rounding out of stats, I think it's changed things slightly. Holt's kicked on this season. He didn't get any progression last season, even though he played practically every game since I got him at the start of season 6. He started to kick on this season. I think better opposition is making a big difference. Miron's been a quiet one, bubbling away in terms of a CDM. We've got Backman, who continues to grow. I picked him up first pack drop halfway through season 5 when I first got started, and this guy's been on a tear since I picked him up. Let's just get rid of all the gubbins and you can just see the overall. Yeah, he was at a 56 rated play. He's now 63. Sadly, I'm probably going to say goodbye to him at the end of the season because I'm going to have a bit of a complete overhaul of the agency, and I'll tell you about my plans moving forward. Some other nice number of plus ones across the board. So yeah, overall progression, a lot happier this season than I was last, because I really didn't get all that much last season. Some of the guys that I was hoping to kick on have. I was hoping people like Huertas would pick up a bit more. His +2 in defending is really helping me out, but he's the guy sitting on 86 shooting. He's finally got to the point now where he's on the cusp of a tier break. I think he's going to need way more stats before he's going to get there, because his pace isn't high, his physical isn't high. It's being padded out by his 86 shooting. Need to have a think about him in the off-season, whether he's someone I want to keep or I want to let someone else have him and see if they can get a better tune out of him. But yeah, overall, not too bad whatsoever. But let's take off the filters, shall we? Let's have a look at the entirety of the squad. Because as you might notice, some new players. I have been targeting res. I've been targeting that 80 rating threshold. I've looked just below, just above. I'm trying to find myself a bit of a bargain, and I've been picking up some older players because I think there's value there. Some of them have got the old ID number, so their retirement age is on average a bit longer than anybody after that particular the newer ID number range. But I really want to look into trying to cut my teeth at a higher level. At the moment, with the clubs, I've got Flint, Spark, and an Ice. I did have 4 teams. I had a second Ice team that was just a farm team. I sold in the off season because I wanted to pivot into this new idea. So I've picked up all these guys. I've got them all out on loan. Some of them on decent percentage contracts here and there. But by picking up those players, and also a number of people wanting to trim out their agencies, and I want to top snack my uncommons in terms of ratings and rarities. I've also been picking up a lot of players and bulk buying them, if you like, for a better discounted rate. Twofold on that one. I want to have a team definitely competing in Stone if I can get there. I need to get myself promoted if I'm going to do that. I've got an outside chance of doing that this season with the Peacocks. My Spark team's going to go up to Ice. If I carry on with the way we're going, if that happens, I might look to move it on. I don't want to sell my Flint team. I like my league license. I'm going to keep hold of that, but I need to keep them progressing, so I might pivot and overstack into Spark and just keep trying to get them as high as I can. But the summer aim is to get myself a bronze or a silver license, ideally, from someone who will be looking to sell in the off-season. At the moment, I've got 10 rare players across a multitude of positions at the moment. I am exploring with a couple of friends of mine, basically co-owning a club and seeing if we can pull resources together, share the MFL equally, and look to grow the agency there. But I really want to try and cut my teeth against some of the best managers in the game, and that's where I'm going to find most of them. So that's where I want to get myself to. Is it going to be viable with these ratings of plays in silver? I think we'd be a weaker team if we were on the low 80s range in the silver division. Bronze would be halfway point, mildly competitive, but it is hard to say. If we go over to MFL Manager, we'll look at divisions, and we'll load up silver. This is this season's averages, like a top 25 club on average. This is talking about MFL Manager rating, which is consisted of those various metrics. But 85 is the top 25, 84 0.8 is the top 50, and 84.42 is the top 75. So we'd definitely be in that bottom 25% looking at what we can pull together at the moment. Can we make it up with tactics and stay in silver? I'd like to try that challenge. I'd like to put myself to the test on that one. As you can see here, bronze is arguably more well suited to the sort of club that we might have at present. Arguably an incredibly competitive iron team, but I want to get myself up to bronze. It is quite a jump. Obviously, they've changed and updated the rules for the minimum thresholds required for various divisions now, which I'm in favour of. I think that's a good move. I think the power curve has shifted, so a lot of it was very outdated. But yeah, As to whether we'll be able to do that and I'm able to get the license I'm after, I'm not sure yet. The benefit to doing all this, though, and getting all these guys in on loan, is my MFL returns for the end of the season has skyrocketed. So this is what I put through on MetaFixer Lab, keeping an eye on this in the next couple of days, especially after like cup games have been sorted out and some of the teams, players out on loan for rev share at clubs in higher rating cups. If they're progressing in the cups, I want to keep an eye on it. So overall, in terms of club winnings, we're coming in at just over 8,000 at present day, given certain positions. So we're third in Flint, second in Spark, and we're currently fourth in Ice. 8,000 return, but the loans coming in, I've got 14,000 MFL coming in from loans, which I think is just such a positive at this stage of the season. I mean, this is where, in terms of looking at next season, where I sort of go, right, who is staying, who will I be looking to sell? At the moment, I think the likelihood is the majority of my limiteds will go. I will look to move them on. If I can't move them on, I'd look to loan them to support other clubs lower down in the pyramid. And then it's a consideration process about which of these uncommons am I going to keep to help build out the clubs that I want to build out. Time will tell on that one as to what I'm going to do with who I've got. But equally, if in the off season I'm starting to look to sell these players and you are interested, as lots of managers already do, get in touch. Happy to chat through a price with you, especially if you see someone who is of interest. Fortunately, Matos this season, he has gone up a stat. It's in the stat no one wants him to go up in. He's a bit better at shooting. Yeah, not a single change in any of his stats. But he is in the right sort of environment. He's only 19. Whether he's hit that progression curve, he's thriving in training. He's averaging a 6.5 rating. Respectable. It is in iron. I do think that he is more than capable of going up and increasing in rating and rarity. I actually looked at the market value of him, and it was basically impossible to value his market price, because no similar sort of players have ever been sold with the age and stuff like that. So yeah, an interesting one to consider there. Whether I look to sell him for a good amount of money and look to reinvest with that sort of profits, or whether I just hold on to him, help him pack out my defensive options at the moment. Because I've picked up a couple. Picked up Kovac at 24 years old. I really like the makeup of this player. I thought the price was very, very reasonable. So I negotiated it down a little bit. I was happy with that. Some of the other ones that I think I was very happy with, where is he now? Vahai, I know he's 29, he's just gone up to 80 recently, but he's on a bit of a progression curve. He was minted at age 28. I think I picked him up for around the 40 mark, 40. Very happy with that one. I can understand the previous owner thinking, not for me, Chief, given what he's got. Yeah, makes a lot of sense, but I'm happy to have someone's unwanteds for the right sort of price. And yeah, I've been happy how I've negotiated most of these. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into some of the clubs. So I'm not sure how your seasons are going, but I found this season more challenging than the previous, well, technically season and a half, because I'd set my stall out at the start of the season. I was going to be 3-5-2 all the way. I love the 3-5-2B. And I'd set it up. I'd done loads of tactic testing. I'd crunched all the numbers, copious spreadsheets. You know me, I love a spreadsheet. It had like a 76% win rate, plus 80 goal difference. Of the other results, it was 50% between draws and losses. So in terms of not being defeated, it was even higher. But it just was not coming together. I mean, in terms of the White Rose Peacocks, let's have a look where they were forecast to be in this league. I think we were third or fourth, something like that off the top of my head. There we go, fourth. Fourth in terms of manager rating. It's worth bearing that in mind because it just balances these things out quite nicely. And we're currently finding ourselves third in the league. Pretty happy with that, but we have flirted with more fifth and sixth for quite a while until we've kicked on in more recent times, because there was just games where we've got 3 losses, we had 2 draws, and it's like the sort of draws we were getting, we're like, how have we only managed to draw in this game? I don't know if this is going to be a good example, we'll find out, where I was just, if you look to the XG or you look to the stats, you go, my guys should be winning this game. This one here, 0-0, but what I started doing is going, okay, 1.39 XG, great, it's higher than 0.77, simple maths, grand. But okay, well, how much XG per shot am I generating out of the 15 shots? And when you start looking at it with that sort of lens, you go, hang on a minute, these are a lot of low XG shots. If we go into the match report, go into attack, I want to select my guys. Who is having the shots? Ben Amar. He had 5 shots, 2 on target, accumulatively 0.46 XG. Krishnik, the same sort of vibe. Khan with 3. So we're getting a lot of shots being taken, but where are they coming from? Like, how far out are they? Because they don't seem very clear-cut chances to me. If we're dividing 0.46 by 5, it's less than 0.1 XG per shot. That isn't a high, good goal-scoring chances. And I did have long shots on, because I did find in the early iterations of the match engine, guys were shooting from silly ranges and they were just flying in. I'll find an example because it was working at the start of the season, and I just remember tweaking it again and going, hang on a minute, I'm onto something here. And they just absolutely tore a team a new one. I think it was this game. And some of the goals in this game were just bonkers. Absolutely bonkers where they were scoring from. I don't know if it's... Let's try and put this on a bit of high speed. Where do you do it on the large thing here? Put it on 1.5. But banging them in from distance, just time and time again. And it was just every time the opportunity was there to have a shot, my guys were having a shot. I mean, that's not a good example. Colas, what about you, mate? Were you shooting from distance? No doubt you were. But the 3-5-2-B was just being able to find so many gaps, get the shots off, in off the crossbar. Great effort. What have we got for Bowdry here? Again, it's a long shot. It's not a high XG chance, but I mean, some of these will actually appear on here as we're going through the game. So we're on 0.71. Whenever this long shot comes in, that's not a good example. Let's go back to Bowdry's goal. We're on 1.63 XG. So when this shot comes in, what does it give us? 0.08 XG. It's nothing. It's not a high quality chance, but we're scoring the goals. And that's what I found I was doing. I was just stat padding every single game, and I can sit there on Twitter all I want, and I can sit there in all the echo chambers that I want to with fellow MFL managers and bitch and moan about what it isn't working and it's not fair and we're just being unlucky, when the sort of chances we were creating, that in that position there, that last one, when the ball comes forward and we're in these good attacking positions, is the shot the right option? Well, it is if it goes in, but 9 times out of 10 is the right choice? No, it isn't. Far from it. So I went back to the drawing board. I've got a couple of tactics set up for this team. It's not as flexible as others. I've got a happy 3-5-2. I've got a couple of variations of the 3-5-2, and I have an alternative formation. I haven't actually ran it yet in the league. I'm holding it back, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to give any of my opposition any inklings as to what I might do. But I have got an alternative formation for this team that I can switch into if it comes up against the right sort of tactic, and that's what I'm doing. I'm playing that chess game now of how good is the opposition's formation against the formations I'm playing, and that's what I'm focusing in on. So we come to the reserves team. We are 3 points off the top. We've got the game in hand because we're in an 11-team league. At the moment, it's going very, very well, as you can see. Got knocked out in the last 16 of the Cup. I didn't cover the Cups, but they were a little bit heartbreaking for a number of them in terms of how they all came together. I will go back to the White Rose Peacocks very, very quickly, because I think, was this the pinnacle example of how it was rather unfortunate how they panned out? Hang on, view more, there we go. Here we go. All 4 clubs ended up on 9 points. And unfortunately, I lost out on goal difference, which I think I lost a number of games in that group. As you can see, 3 wins, 3 losses, and some of the cup games. There's a 2-0 loss there, 3-0 loss there. Did we have one earlier on, or did we start pretty well? I think we actually started the cup pretty well, but did we lose our last one? Yeah, we lost our last cup game, sadly. I don't know if I'd changed things. Yeah, I'd moved into the 3-5-2. Yeah, I think that could have easily gone either way, but I can't complain about that loss. We didn't pick up the points. I think we needed just a draw to guarantee it, and we only drew, and we lost the game. So only on ourselves in that one, but it was a tight one. Reserves managed to make it through with 3 wins and 3 losses again. Again, very patchy form. But the form was very much picked up in the second half of the season. What I'm liking about this team is we're not really conceding goals. We've only conceded 6 all season in 13 games. I'm happy with that. Holding teams out. We have got a strong team. If I go to up here and we go for, let's have a look for the Peacock reserves. Pre-season, how were we fixed? Because I can't quite remember. 4th again, but again, very competitive within that top of the half of the league sort of standing, but it is coming together rather nicely. So we've started to pick up a bit more form in the last 5 games, and now I'm starting to look at my opposition, what they're playing, how they set up, and can I counteract it. So if I just load up a couple of examples, because I think I've had a few different formations I've played over this time. So yeah, I deployed my 4-1-2-1-2 narrow against the 3-5-2 attacks. I'm happy with that sort of setup against that. Against the 4-2-3-1, I do like the 3-5-2. I think it's very, very effective. If we go to, again, if it's a 4-3-3 formation, I tend to look at the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, but it's not exclusive to that. If we go to this one, yeah, against the 4-4-2-B, don't come up against it often. Tried the 3-5-2, it worked out. I think strength of teams really was the telling factor in this one. Don't think tactically I got this one perfect. Just about got there. I think it was more RNG on that one as to which way that one would go. 4-1-2-1-2 again against the 3-5-2, 4-3-3 attack. As again, I really like that sort of setup. And I've got a couple of other formations. At the moment, I've also been playing around with a 4-2-2-2, which I am finding great success against specific formations, so I've got that in my locker as well. So it's all been going well. In terms of mid-season strengthening, I actually didn't mid-season strengthen. I actually sold a few players to fund some of the things I was doing, and I've just put the players back into the club. I just amended the contract rev share they were on, so I didn't want to give unnecessary rev share away. So no strengthening in this team here in the mid-season break. I just wanted to have that little tactical shuffle around. We're starting to score goals now, because that was also an issue early in the season. I think Brunner is up there with top goal scorers. Yeah, competing for top goal scorer against a couple of other opposition. I like looking at these sorts of players and seeing how good they are. See, I wouldn't say he's an outstanding striker, but they're doing well in the league. I mean, look how many goals they're scoring in 14 games. Tenorino, again, okay. Are they better than Brunner? I wouldn't say so. I'd say Brunner's got this sort of package you're looking for. You pace, shooting and pace. And physical, sorry. Pace, shooting and physical, but the dribbling, yeah, not the best, but do I want him to be dribbling? I don't tend to lean into that too much. So yeah, strong position in this one, aiming for a playoff position. If we can secure the league title, I'd be thrilled with that. I think realistically, it's probably going to come down to when we play against Cascais? I don't know. But when are we playing them? 4 fixtures time, yeah. So that'll be a couple of games to, yeah, it's our 4th to last game of the season. That's probably going to dictate where we finish in the league between the two of us. And then it's obviously then a consideration towards the last half of the season, based on where we're likely to finish. How do I prepare for the playoffs? Am I going to be resting players? Am I going to be testing a new tactic? Not sure yet. And the most difficult team I've had to manage this season so far, my Peacocks FC. It doesn't look like we've been having a bad job, because you can see lots of steady wins here, but we have been all over the show. We've lost games we shouldn't have lost. Some of them we did, definitely. Very good opposition. Huragan Ostrava, very strong team in the league. Great forward team in terms of their forwards, attacking lineup. But we're conceding so many goals without scoring anywhere near as many as all the other teams that we've had. And this one in particular, the 3-5-2-B, just stank the place out. Absolutely stank the place out. Here we go. Yeah, that was a loss there. We got some consistent wins. Another loss here. Spark League. Nah, that was another season. It must have been last season, that one. I was confused then. But yeah, lots of losses going on in here, especially in the cup and stuff like that. Heartbreak here was last game of the cup. We won 5-1. They were above us in the cup. I knew if we won, we had a chance of going up. I wasn't quite sure where we sat. Afterwards, waiting for it to update, it was pain. We got knocked out on 10 points. Missed out on goal difference. We were playing Valencia. If we hadn't conceded the first minute penalty, pain in the arse, or if we'd scored an additional goal, we would have been through. Absolutely gutted when I looked at that. I mean, we're not at the higher echelons of MFL yet to be earning ridiculous amounts of MFL per win, but to get through to the round of 16 and potentially further, it starts racking up quite nicely. So yeah, very disappointed with how that turned out, but it is what it is. It's meant we don't have to worry about rotation in the cup fixtures, and we've come back since the break, and we've had 4 consecutive wins, some good wins in there. Again, rotation in terms of tactics. There's the 4-2-2 I've been trialling out and playing with. It's a bit of a weird mix of this team because I've got a couple of loans in as well that I got prematurely and I don't really need them. But I believe they're in on no rev share and stuff like that, so it's not like the end of the world. Yeah, 0% rev share, for example. So they're helpful rotation options, but it sort of forced my hand a little bit in terms of tactical flexibility. In terms of strengthening the team in the off-season, I picked up Petrenko as part of a bulk buy. I think it was with Bosco. Yeah, it was. Great chap to talk to and stuff. But did a good sort of bulk buy option with Bosco, got a number of players, and I think it was like 9 players or something in the end. He's coming to help strengthen a good rotational option for me. I'm happy with how this team's coming together. I think having Huertas as my main striker is not quite doing what I thought it would do. I thought this would help carry him with shooting. It isn't. He gets his 50-50 chances in the box, he gets the goal, but unless he's getting those, his pace is mediocre, his dribbling's mediocre, he's fairly weak, especially against most defenders you'll come across. I mean, if I put my positions in and go for defenders, 83, 65, 85, 76, 68, 67, all of them are in the 60s, so he can just get bullied out of a game and just get marked out of a game. If anything, Fathy and Id, when they've come in, they've done a much better job up front. So again, I think getting a bit blinded by a stat, not the overall of a player, but the overall contribution of numerous stats of a player is the way to go. I'd argue Brunner at 68 rated is a better rounded striker than Huertas is. If Huertas could get that progression going in the right areas, he could be a monster. Not seeing it yet, he's 25, so there's a lot of considerations to take place there. So yeah, going into the end of the season now, final push, seeing where we can sort of head out. Meekins, tomorrow's fixture, they're above us in the league. That's going to be an important fixture. But again, not dropping silly points because there's no real pushovers in this league. It's a very competitive league. Meekins soon, after that Temple MFC, so 2 tough fixtures in a row. I think second to last game against top of the league, as you can see, are running away with it. They've only had 1 loss all season. They were lost against the Brampton Wizards. Again, I've come up against this guy, lost 1 fixture, won the other. They've been very tight games, both of them. I'm not sure who the manager is, but Dr. Pitts doing a very good job. I think that's Zuter's team. No, I thought I had one of Zuter's teams in this league. It might be a different one. Big Wilbert's team. No. I thought I did. I'm sure I came across one. It might be one of my other leagues that he's got a team in there. But yeah, overall, much happier now than where I was at because, Jesus, I was pulling my hair out at times. But hopefully your second half of the season is going well. You're where you want to be. If you are in danger of that relegation, hopefully you can turn it around and get against that. If you are fighting for the promotion push, best of luck to you. Considering your squad rotation, keeping players fit, especially if you're guaranteed a playoff position and you can't go any higher, start thinking about resting players and making sure they're fully fighting fit for the playoffs. If you aren't familiar with how the playoffs work, do head over to the white paper and have a quick read about it because it is worthwhile knowing what might be coming. Big discrepancy between second and third in terms of playoffs, so have a look at that. But yeah, best of luck for the end of the season. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. I'm going to aim to do some more content moving forward. I've been working away when I've had the opportunity on some of the tools that I've been building. I want to continue looking at that. I like the idea of building out a player evaluation tool that I can give to yourselves basically to make a copy of and you can play around with it. I've been testing out some of the fatigue tracking. I know there's other people out there who are creating some fantastic things. I think MFL Stats is a new website, very much worth having a look if you haven't looked at it already. He's advertising it all over Twitter. But yeah, best luck towards the end of the season. If you happen to be brand new to MFL, I doubt you will be if you've watched this find to one of my videos because they're a bit niche. Do make sure you use a referral code when you do sign up. I'll include mine in today's video. What I'm going to be doing moving forward is I would receive a common player as well as you would do, is whatever common player I get, I'll just give to you. You can have the common player, whoever it is. I'll give it for, well, I can't give it for absolutely nothing, but I think it works at $0.01. You can have it for that, no problem whatsoever. So if you do happen to be new, if you don't use mine, make sure you use someone else's anyway. But best luck for the end of the season, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.